we celebrate the 43-year reign of the speed metal kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage for the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
It's Sunday night once again, and that means it's time for another live recording of the Auburn Experience podcast, the main show of everything we do here at E2C Network, coming your way. 2 major topics among Auburn sports, culture, and family, and we'll catch you up on everything else in our Auburn potpourri segment. All that and more right now. David Housel described it best. We are living the whole of the Auburn experience. You can quantify it, you can qualify it through a variety of methods, time, people, places, and things. But at its heart and at its core, the Auburn experience is all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. The easier way to say it, though, if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing today for episode 164 of the Auburn Experience podcast. As always, I'm your host, Kyle Loomis, alongside me, the better co-host, the one that was prepared before the show and just waiting on me to send him the link that I thought I sent him, Mr. Austin Scott. Welcome.
Well, what's up? War Eagle, Kyle, War Eagle to our viewers and listeners. I was sitting here just kind of looking at my watch every now and then, wondering, I hope he's okay. Turns out you were doing the same. So
we were both ready
tonight.
We were ready to roll, and I'm sitting here. I'm like, I sent the link, and then oh wait, it actually didn't send it. Sitting in the queue to send, and yeah, so we were both on time, prepared. I thought the boys were just like giving you fits tonight. That's what was going on. But
well,
no.
Things can be this mutually. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. They can both be true.
See, that was a good time for you to set up. Oh, the boys are angels. Nothing crazy or anything going on.
Any other day, we might be going there.
I'm going to move on from that one right here, right now. All right, for this episode, as always, we're going to do 2 main topics. We're going to do baseball and softball updates for you. And then in the last main topic, we're going to do a Auburn football spring roster update. And we'll do some potpourri here in just a little bit. Let's get started here, though. I want to bring something up to you first, Austin. Have you seen these attempts this week to bring back these logo change attempts for Auburn that were done in 1995? I feel like every year this crops up in some account, gets it going again, and shows that list of just ridiculous attempts at changing the Auburn University logo. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, yes. And my first statement on this will be that there has not been enough credit to where that database of logos has lived, but I did see it brought up by a very popular podcast recently on the 1995 other alternative Auburn logo options this week, and it certainly stirred the pot once again.
It does. And is there anything from that list that you thought, okay, this is fine, like I can deal with that? Like
everything looks like it was made on Microsoft Paint. Everything on it looks like from something from a bank to a credit union to the Jetsons. Like it's all 1995 and it's all bad.
It's like clip art, basically.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Listen, and we're doing this in hindsight in 2026 when everything's done by AI, first of all, but also there's much more skill and much more technology to go with it. But so you kind of have to think about that. It's just not. It's not good though, and it just once again establishes the premise, not even the premise, the fact that the logo is perfect. Do not need to change it. Do not need to touch it. Those little weird things right there between the U and the A with the white space that I know it's annoying to some people with graphic design. Just leave it alone.
Terrible 5 years ago when Daffy Duck, President Lee tried to close it, tried to change it. It's terrible. It's terrible now. So just leave the logo as it is. We're all happy.
Well, I wasn't anticipating the Daffy Duck reference to that process, but I guess in some ways maybe it was. But yeah, if you've seen that this week, that was pretty interesting, and I'm hoping that they'll die off in social media. It's pretty bad. Anything for you this week, sir?
Well, a random roundabout way to get here, but I did notice something, and I did a little extra math on it, and I wanted to see if you'd noticed this. Have you noticed what Clemson and South Carolina do for their baseball series rivalry every
I
year?
have not. This is news to me.
Obviously not conference opponents, right?
Sure.
So they gotta like Florida State, they gotta manage that on their own, figure out how to do it and things like that. But you and I have talked about how unfortunate it is that, especially in softball, Auburn and Alabama do not always get to play in the regular season. Obviously, in baseball, they usually get to, but sometimes it's obviously only one fan base gets it. The home Clemson and South Carolina. I saw there was some drama in those games this weekend, and so I was looking up the highlights because I saw every stadium was different. On Friday night, they played at South Carolina, the University of South Carolina's home stadium. On Saturday, they played at the Columbia Fireflies minor league stadium, which is not that far from the University of South Carolina, but it's a different stadium, a neutral site, quote unquote.
Sure.
And then on Sunday, they played at Clemson Stadium for a 3-game series. And so my question to you could do it in a number of ways. You could change it every year. And the difference between the two towns is roughly the same from Clemson, South Carolina, from Auburn to Alabama. So would you be in favor of the Auburn Alabama series in baseball and softball every year being home, neutral, away? You can pick Montgomery. You can pick Birmingham. You can go really either route you want to get to the other side.
So let me make sure I understand this correctly. You're asking that one game's home, one's neutral, one's away because they're so close.
That's right. Everybody gets one.
I don't like everybody getting one. I don't want them to have anything. I don't know if
you could have none. Like this year, we're all away. We have none.
That's fair. I thought you were going to go this route. I thought you were going to say we should go back to what we were doing before someone got afraid and play at some place like Riverwalk in a non-SEC matchup for Auburn and Alabama that counts towards the record. I thought you were going to say, so when Auburn has the series, let's just say baseball, Auburn has the series, you play in Birmingham, so a neutral site, but technically it's closer to them and it's Birmingham, so it's Alabama territory. And then the reverse of that, if it's at Alabama, we play Montgomery, which is not Auburn, but it's basically Auburn territory somewhat, but it's close. I thought that's what you're going to do. So I would say no, I would rather have the entire series and would rather do that version of it.
You'd also rather not have the entire series, though.
I would rather not. I would rather not have to spend 3 days. My team spend 3 days in Tuscaloosa every other year. Yes.
So you would rather
I would want to limit our time in Tuscaloosa. How about that?
Well, this does limit that time, though, doesn't it?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just being blind rage just because I hate. Yeah,
I thought it was an interesting idea, and I think it matches up well. I just hate it feels so weird, and I guess it shouldn't be that weird because it's like football. Football does the same thing. Like you don't get a game at both. Like basketball, you get a game at both. But I just like the idea of being able to see that game in at home in any kind of way. Sure. Personally, like you mentioned, I'd be more in favor of it being at Riverwalk because that's more Auburn territory, like you said, the middle one in between the two home games. But anyway, just food for thought. I was researching that, and I had no idea they did that. And obviously, like I said, it's easier because it's a non-conference slate. I'm sure the SEC would have to approve a whole bunch of stuff for Auburn and Alabama to do this, but it is really interesting to me.
No, I backing up your concept and what they're doing sounds intriguing, and I need to remove my feelings about other situations there out of it. But it maybe is something that can be investigated because
you are right though. You are right though that there was a scenario like this set up, and feelings got hurt and fears entered the game, and there was no longer a fun atmosphere had at Riverwalk Stadium.
Never would know who that was about and who gets their feelings.
Well, there's a reputation of being afraid to play other programs in the state,
and there's a reputation
not from us.
There's a reputation for stopping a series altogether because we couldn't agree on things, and you're the party that was. Yeah. Anyway, we know who that is. We can move on from that. I want to do a really quick plug though before we get to potpourri. Just when I find out something new for myself, it's new to me. I know this is somebody that's been around for a time. A little free advertising for them. Turn and Burn AU, which is one of these food trucks that you'll find around the Auburn Opelika area. I just discovered them for the first time and was following them this week on social media and love some of the stuff that I was seeing from them. They've been on campus a lot. Obviously, they do the Auburn and Opelika area, it sounds like. But I love just spying the spotlight a little bit on Auburn businesses when we get the opportunity to, and especially when, I guess, as the host of the show, I discovered them first time, and maybe I should have known of them for the first time. It sounds like you were at least aware of them a little bit.
Yeah, I'm very aware. Turn and Burn's most permanent spot is right outside my window of my office. I can see it Monday through Thursday, 4 days a week for lunch, and I see it every time they pull up. I've had it twice. I've had their I'm going to butcher the name brands of their food, but I've had the burger and the chicken sandwich. Both are really good. Both are pretty phenomenal. The guys are really top notch and get the food out quick. So I've been very impressed with them and hope they get to kind of be a mainstay around here. I know they're supposed to have some house chips, and I'm big on like some house chips, homemade seasoned chips. They haven't had them when I've been yet. But they've been very upfront and transparent about that. But I'm looking forward to that, and they seem to be doing really well and getting really popular. So, it's in a secluded kind of spot up there behind the College of Ed, in between there and the I think that's Sassnet is the Lone Hill building back there by Boyd, still standing. But they're never super busy because of that secluded area. So check it out if you're around.
So we're trying to get you a little bit of traffic over that way, and for it sounds like they rotate their menu pretty somewhat regularly from what I was doing a little bit of research. And if I've got that wrong, that's my mistake. But as I'm getting acquainted with another Auburn business out there, just wanted to throw a little bit of love, the Auburn love that way. Go support them, the Auburn family, and check them out when you're on campus or visiting or whatever. Turn and Burn AU, another good food option for you at the Auburn Eats segment, I guess. All right. Potpourri time. We got a lot to talk about. I'm going to throw us a little bit of a monkey wrench here because something we have to talk about very quickly. It is. We just passed the 47th birthday of the world's greatest, mascot, but the world's greatest tiger, Aubie. I was going to give him a real formal name, and I couldn't come up with it on the fly. Aubie the Tiger. His 47th birthday. He is never once looked old or outdated. He is timeless. He is amazing. We love us some Aubie the Tiger, and this is a little bit belated because we did the show after his birthday. But happy birthday, Aubie! So I just want to give us an opportunity.
Happy birthday to Aubie. 47 has never looked so good, and he got to celebrate with a fun full weekend around Auburn. So. Happy birthday, Aubie. And man, how he can't get that, there's that academic progress rate we talk about with like it used to be a reason that you could transfer or like a guideline you had to meet, that you had to be working so far toward your degree to transfer. Aubie's APR must be in the toilet because the guy's been here forever, and either that or he has about way too many doctorates. But he's been around and he still looks good and he's still thriving. And as you well know, if you've listened to the show at any time, he is highly, highly revered in this household.
Absolutely. Every household. If you are an Auburn person, you call yourself, and you don't revere the magnificent Aubie, you're just Bobby. Well, I thought we moved on from that.
We have, but it's a good thing to remember.
I thought we moved on from that. 47 years old for Aubie the Tiger. Happy birthday. And we love having the greatest mascot and real tiger in the entire world. Prove me wrong. You can't. I promise you can't. All right. Talking a little bit of some fun stuff from this week. This was SEC Championship week for indoor track and field. And I know, once again, I got a lot of people start tuning out right away, and you're wrong for that because you need to be paying attention to this track and field program. We're going to give you some big accomplishments from individual stance. I actually don't have in front of me the results of where they landed in the overall rankings of the SEC Championship, but we've got a few golds here that we want to make sure that we talk about today. Now, you'll know this name, Austin. We talked about him a bunch, even 2 months ago when the Bowerman Award was being selected. Jacoby Tharp has won back-to-back golds in the men's 60-meter hurdles, and that is quite the accomplishment to do it once, to do it 2 seasons in a row. Even more. And, hey, listen, it looks like he's already going to start his Bowerman campaign I mean, he's already started it technically because the cycle is kind of weird how it works. But listen, just add that to his list. I think this is the year he needs to be given that because he should have won it last year.
Yeah, one of the most exciting events in track and field. And Jacoby Tharp does it twice in back-to-back, wins the gold. So just very, very cool to see. I was keeping up with that and looking forward to seeing when that would become final without being able to watch. And I think WT actually put it in our Conquer Club before I actually could find out. So there was a lot of people waiting on it and excited to see Jacoby do it again. So congratulations, Jacoby. And man, once is nice. Twice is even better.
Twice is even better. And if twice is even better by the same person, we're going to take basically the same event, just remove the hurdles. The men's 60 meters, Kanesola Ajayi, he won the gold in that for the men. And I believe I pronounced that right. If I'm wrong, it just takes me. I'm a dumb kid from Alabama, or originally from Alabama. But another gold by Mr. Ajayi, and that's you said twice is nice. Just take the hurdles out. We did it again. So
yeah,
I guess another back to back to back. I guess.
And some people might view that as even more exciting, and especially when you tie a collegiate record when doing
that's
so.
True.
60 meters in 6.45 seconds. Kyle, we could do it 50,000 times and we would never reach that. Never.
Now listen, back in my day,
50,000 times you and I are never reaching 6:45. It's not happening.
I was a distance runner and I did well just to, not pass out on the when I tried out for track and field. And I say tried out, did not made it. But another gold for Auburn, 2 for the men. And we're only covering just a smattering of all the silvers and golds and other accomplishments. Yeah, so we're just giving you just some highlights here. So please go check out the rest. One more here because we got to represent the ladies. Miss Megan Haig. She not only won gold in her event, she made history 3 times. I'm going to give you the stats that they shared out there. She's the first Auburn woman thrower to win an SEC indoor title, specific there, indoor title, school record with the number 2 mark nationally. And then she's also a first-time SEC champion herself. So hers, where we talk about back-to-back or repeats, something we just got. Not only is this her first one, she's just like, I'm just going to go ahead and knock off everything just right now.
Yeah.
First Auburn woman to do this, first woman for me, everything. So congratulations to Megan for winning a gold for Auburn.
Really impressive. And you can see it in the video that Auburn Track and Field put out that she is excited and she obviously has worked very hard at her craft. And it all paid off. So congratulations to her. And what a fun weekend for Auburn Track and Field and a whole bunch of areas. Remember, we'll talk about it here in the next few months, but that will be this was indoor, but outdoor will be the last event of the athletic season. It's not Omaha. I know that's fun, but it's not Omaha. It's not men's golf. It is in outdoor track. So
yes.
these athletes will get to do it all again here now, just outside as the weather gets nicer.
Yes, and let's hope it continues to stay nice out
Please.
there. We've been blessed with it so far. So for all the spring sports, the track, softball, baseball, golf, all of tennis, all of it, let's get some good spring weather this year, and not so much of that stuff we've been blessed with. So we got it good so far. All right, we are going to talk about spring schedule stuff here, but it's not what you traditionally think about in the spring. We always like to give you things to keep up to date with. We already did our spring sports calendar that you need to be looking for weekends. Add this to that segment that we did there if you were planning out your Auburn weekends to the spring. And we knew this was coming. Auburn volleyball does do a spring schedule where they play a few matches, just like soccer does as well. So, I mean, basically you get all the fall sports active in the spring in some way: football, volleyball, soccer, and then track and field, cross country is already going on. So that's kind of covered right there. Here is your spring schedule that you can look forward to and maybe add to your plans for the weekends for Auburn volleyball. We've got them at the Troy tournament. That is going to be March 7th. And then I've got it really small, so my eyes are really hurting right now.
March 28th. You're good.
March 20th. Thank you. There we go. March 28th versus Troy. So not only going to go to Troy and be at that tournament, you're going to bring them back here. And keep in mind, this is the Watson Fieldhouse too.
That's what I was about to ask you. Is that the new indoor area they've converted to be for volleyball? Okay. I didn't know that had a name.
you can reference one of our mini construction updates.
Yes,
that
I
we
remember us
did.
talking about it because I didn't know it was happening, and then I didn't know they had also named it. So that's neat. So I would assume fans will get to get a good look at that.
You know, if they're putting the schedule out there, yeah, obviously you'd hope to get in there and get a good look at it. So Troy bringing them here to Auburn after you go to their tournament, and then April 4th, you've got the Georgia Tech tournament here in Atlanta. Huge contingency of Auburn people here in the Georgia area, the Atlanta area. So come on out and support. I've been to that gymnasium before to support Auburn volleyball, and it can get really loud and fun in there. So come on out. Kennesaw State will be coming to Neville this time, April 11th. And then one more on April 11th, Georgia Tech. So I guess if you like playing Troy and if you like playing Georgia Tech, you're going to get your fill of it, Austin, this schedule.
There it is. We've talked about how it's crazy Auburn's never played Troy in football. We talked about that's coming to an end soon. But they certainly play the Tigers and just about everything else a good bit. And this is just like Georgia Tech. And this is another example of that. So looking forward to that, and gives you a really good chance to see the ladies in the spring. Kyle, when I saw this week, I was hopeful for you that we'd get one on 8A weekend just for you to add something, but alas.
I just want to say that 2 programs announced their spring schedules after the 8A game, and they had an opportunity to enhance the weekend, and they both failed me. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. That's all I'm going to say. Regardless of that, come on out, check them out. Coach Crouch and the ladies out there have put together a program that you can be proud of, and this is just the beginning, the first look that you have of your future 2026 fall squad, and lots of good familiar or regional opponents, and some connective tissue, I call it, opponents with Georgia Tech and all that we share similar to them. Let's keep moving on here. This is the general athletics thing. I thought this was interesting this week, and I feel like this is going to get people, I don't want to say stirred up, but when we bring up a conversation about Auburn winning an award because of ticketing and stuff like that, it's going to be, but the prices, I get it. Trust me. Everything's expensive these days, folks. We get it, but we want to, acknowledge these things when it happens. So if you're not aware, Auburn has really transformed the way it does ticketing and stuff like that, working through SeatGeek, but they also have partners that help manage all of that. And that company they use is, you want to pronounce that one?
I know it. It's actually Paciolan.
Yes, you got it. And I didn't have to struggle through that again like I did.
Paciolan. Yep.
Paciolan. They were announced the star of the year, which I'm guessing is like the most, we'll go through some of the stats here, but the most improved or the biggest one of that potential partnership. Auburn Athletics has been named that star of the year, and the top award among the 500 plus partners. And it recognizes them for innovation in ticketing, marketing, revenue, highlighted by 25% of ticket revenue generated from new non-sport opportunities. So this goes back, Austin, to all these concerts, other things that you and I have been talking about. And as we've tried to tell folks, it doesn't matter if it's Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family. Attach Auburn to it, and the Auburn people will show up for it and pay money for it too.
Yeah, no, you're right. And Paciolan's one of those companies in the sports industry world, especially, that does a lot of good ticketing, is one of the industry leaders for it. So for them to recognize Auburn, and obviously if you look at the picture that was posted by Auburn, there's lots of good people and people we've highlighted on this show before who do a great job in supporting those external efforts for Auburn athletics. And the concerts have been rolling. There's more to be announced and continue to be announced. So I'm sure that you'll see more of these opportunities, but with, that's not something that's unique to Auburn. We've seen a lot of people do that so far and bring in big names so far this year. But something about the way Auburn's decided to do it and really enhance what their athletic department can be through those opportunities earn them quite the honor.
I'm still holding out hope, Austin, for that Jeff Dunham comedy show, the puppet show, to come to Neville Arena. That's what I'm
fascinating.
That's what I'm counting on, and I'm just putting it out there into the world for any Auburn officials that want to hear me and hear me promote the heck out of it for free.
It is
just putting it out there.
It is something though, like it's been all musical concerts, and there's some comedy acts out there you could get. There's some.
Hey, Vargas. Sorry,
I don't know if we got an arena big enough.
We have a stadium.
Wouldn't that be something? But there's plenty of opportunities to be out there, and this group's done an innovative job so far. So I'm sure we'll find out more soon.
Yeah, I would like to see what we can do beyond. Not that it's not been fun to see all the people respond to that with the concerts and things like that, but let's see what we can do here. Let's see what Auburn people we can push them to the limits of spending money, because as we told you, you give it to them, you attach Auburn to it, they will show up. So congrats to the group that's been managing that. There's a lot of people that have worked hard to generate that for Auburn, and they're the star of the year for Packy Olin. Last thing in potpourri, we know that basketball right now is not the most popular topic, as we have clearly avoided a lot of that this week, but we are going to talk about the things that you do need to focus on, and that is what may be your final opportunity to see the Auburn women's team this year, and first-year head coach Larry Vickers. Now, obviously, I'm not going to know how all this is going to shake out or things like that, but make sure you lock in this week. The SEC women's basketball tournament is now up. The bracket is available. You can see it if you want to go check it out online and see times and all that kind of stuff. And right now, I think if you're Auburn fans, you're probably not expecting a lot out of the women's basketball team. They have gotten a few SEC victories, but it's a first year. So, we just kind of let them set the foundation, go from there. Auburn will come in as the 15th seed overall, not the last, though they just lost to the last one today. So there's that part of it. This 15th seed, and they are going to be slated to take on Texas A&M in that first round. I can go through the route that they would potentially have to go, and it is a murder's row, but I'll pitch it over to Austin. Women's basketball tournament, it's here, and it got here real quickly, my friend.
It did. We're recording this on March 1, so it is March, and it's got a little bit of a more sour taste than usual for if you're just wanting to enjoy your own team. But the ladies tournament is starting this week, and the ladies tournaments usually do start a week ahead of the guys. But Auburn, you're in it. I guess you could have lost out a couple of years ago, but you've got 16, nice round number of teams, so you're in it, and you can't win it if you're not in it. But we'll see. It's been a rough back half of the conference schedule, especially for Auburn women's basketball. I think there were a lot of high hopes on what this team could be after the non-con and start to the year. So I certainly was in that boat. It's just been kind of a snowball that you can't get to stop going downhill. But you never know what can happen in March, and here we are, and the ladies have a good chance.
Listen,
and where is it this year?
I think it's at the Bonsa Coors Arena in Greenville, if I'm not mistaken, which is a March Madness venue as well. So maybe you want to go there and just kind of get acquainted that whenever Auburn men's basketball makes it back to it at some point. You never know. Just throwing that out there too. Don't want to stir that up today, but women's basketball tournament. So their pathway, Texas A&M first, and then as I got rid of it here, of course, right before I was going to give it to you. But basically, it would get them to the point where they'd have to run to Texas if they continued to run the table. I think
it was Vanderbilt.
Well, so it would get to, I think it's Vanderbilt, and then if they come out of that, they would have to run into Texas ultimately.
You ready?
Yeah, go ahead and run through it since I got rid of the screen for myself. Which is
Auburn beats A&M. If they beat A&M, they play Ole Miss the next day. They beat Ole Miss, they play Vanderbilt the next day, and then you would likely have to play Texas after that. So it's and then
it's a murderer's row.
Yeah, it's just the top four are just, I'm not saying I know everything about SEC women's basketball, but if it were me, I'd probably pencil those top four into playing next Saturday.
It doesn't seem there's a lot of parity, especially this year. The best are the best, and that's kind of how it is. It seems like a lot like last year for the men too in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But there's the pathway for Auburn women's basketball. You're only guaranteed one more game, so keep playing, and you never know. Maybe there's a little surprise first-year run like Bruce Pearl had, except this time for Coach Larry Vickers with a last-second shot.
You never know.
Maybe there's a KT Harrell out there that wants to make a name for themselves in Auburn women's basketball history, and that's kind of the tipping point of when things started going the right direction for the new era. All right, that is potpourri. We squeezed a lot in there, as much as we possibly could, but it is time to get into our main topics, and as has been the case, we got a lot to talk about on the Diamonds side of thing. Baseball, softball, all good thing. Well, mostly good things this week, and we're gonna have a lot of fun things to discuss. You get the pick again, sir. Softball or baseball?
I think we went softball first last week, so we'll go baseball first this week.
I figured that was going to be the case, sir. So let's jump into it. Would you like to talk about the midweek first, to talk about that exciting little surprise of a game with West Georgia?
Yes. Well, I attended.
You were there. So to
I
give
was
us
there.
the lowdown.
It was hump day.
Hump day. And by the way, did I get I don't think you gave me the deuces.
I did not. Loretta had no interest in taking a picture with us. As soon as we got up there, she turned to go eat. And, you know, I don't fault the staffer that was there taking pictures for us, but she certainly had a long line behind her and did not give us much of a chance to coax Loretta into turning around. So I took the picture that we had. I sent it in our Conquer Club. Yep. And that was good enough. But we did get to see Loretta a little bit more. We were standing behind, and I guess we ruined someone else's picture because she was looking at us then. But she was there, and the boys were very interested in her. All they could talk about was she on Noah's Ark. I was like, no, she wasn't on Noah's Ark, but a camel was. It's just not Loretta, like most likely. I don't know. Maybe she was.
Well, speaking of Noah's Ark and floods, Loretta brought the flood of scoring from West Georgia Wolves. I did not have this on my bingo card. You and I have talked ad nauseum about midweek games, the importance of them, and not dismissing these teams. And I'm going to admit to you today, Austin, as he yawns about them as well. See, look, he's already doing it for this next week. Okay. No, I fell victim to that as well. I said things like, of all the midweek games, I think this is the one they're even giving the hump day promotion. Like, I think this is kind of obvious. And boy, did it take all of extra innings to get this victory in exciting fashion. So lesson learned for myself again, hopefully lesson learned for everybody out there, but I'm sure it made it exciting to attend since you were there.
Well, we didn't make it the whole time with
I imagined
bedtimes and such, but I actually was tuned into our boy Sam Monson on the family night, not live post game, even though it turned into post game.
It kind of,
so it was exciting, but it definitely took all of that and more for Auburn to come out and beat the one-win team of West Georgia. But like you said, we have talked about midweek games and the importance of them and how much that you can really get bit if you are not on your A game. And that was certainly a chance for Auburn to do it. And thankfully they came out on top.
I would like to submit to you a new name for Mr. Bingaman. Mr. Dingaman, because he hits dingers. I know we're going to talk about him sliding in there, but he had a home run as well. So and he had a great week before that. That's my new name for Mr. Dingaman. If we want to throw that out there, I know that feels a little uncomfortable, but I'm just going to throw that out into the world and see if anybody wants to run with it.
I'm gonna let you run that solo, but Mr. Dingaman is certainly something I'd be interested to see if Ethan.
You said it too. You said Dingaman too.
I'm gonna give it to you once. I'm gonna see if Ethan would like that. I'm gonna let him be the judge of that.
Okay. In serious note, though, three things really things out of that play to wrap up our conversation about this. That great hit by Bub Terrell in that situation.
Went down there and scooped it.
Exactly. And that's what you expect out of a guy like Bub Terrell. The great slide by Bingaman in there. And I had so many people try to argue from other fan bases that he wasn't. Like the replay shows right under the tag. I mean, it looks like bang, bang right when you're there, but great slide by him. And can we give some props to my man Brad Law for an amazing call? I mean, you saw the replays of it if you watch the YouTube stream that they have of the press box. So I did not anticipate to have that much fun on a West Georgia game. So credit to them too for making it super exciting.
No, they did. And we'll see if they'll be back. They might've given too much of a scare to be invited back.
Yeah. I think no more hump day for you. No more Loretta for the West Georgia Wolves and them, but Auburn gets the victory and escapes midweek calamity. Nebraska, you were looking forward to this matchup for a long time. Was it just because of the novelty of it, or because you were excited about what Nebraska was going to look like, or what was the appeal for you?
The novelty, sure, but also just the chance to see another Power 5 big time Division I program early in the season. Like you come off a week after the Amagi Classic in Arlington. And you certainly see a bunch of big names there, but you get to keep it kind of rolling by getting Nebraska the weekend after. I thought that they lived up to that. And certainly I think you can see Nebraska's talented and that Auburn had their hands full, certainly in night one. But the rest of the weekend they were able to turn it around. I much rather prefer tests like that consistently throughout the season.
Mhm.
You're gonna have your fair share during SEC play. You might as well make sure the guys know the standard from the jump. In Nebraska this early certainly allowed that, I think.
Yeah. So here was the results of the week. Game 1 went to Nebraska in extra innings, 9-8. They get the win, and Auburn had an opportunity once again in extra innings to take that. You've got Nebraska 15-4 with the. I'm sorry, Auburn 15-4 with the run rule. So they kind of made up for that first game there, and then to get the win today, Auburn wins 12-3, nearly getting the run rule as well, and had a position to run rule them for 2 games in a row now. So Auburn does take the series. I was excited about this one because, as you said, it's a power program. It's a big name in a lot of other sports, so people have some excitement behind that. And of the non-conference series, it was the biggest name out there.
Definitely.
But you never know if they're going to live up to it. But if you're going to be the visiting team for a non-conference series, you've got to get the first one to put the pressure on Auburn, and boy, did they. So credit to them, just like we gave credit to West Georgia for coming in here and giving Auburn a little bit of a scare. You also got to give credit to Nebraska, but I'm going to give more credit to the boys for locking in. That offense got rolling behind those pitchers and did an outstanding job. I mean, you could just pick whoever you want, Austin, to talk about from this week.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I think the offense is something that a lot of Auburn fans have been concerned about to start the year. A lot of big names coming back that Auburn was worried about early to start the year because it was like, I thought offense was supposed to be the calling card this year. And it's been the bit of more of the struggle. So to see them bounce back, yes, after game one, even in game one, they got down in extra innings by a lot. And there's a good chance you can phone it in and say, we got 2 more games to play. Still fought hard, and then you put up double digits both the next 2 days to really put Nebraska away. The McCrane brothers have to be one of the biggest stories of the early season. Brandon obviously getting a lot more playing time with Chris Rimbert going down early. Great to see him back this weekend so quickly. Did not expect that.
Did not expect that whatsoever.
But what a unexpected gift for Auburn to get to have Brandon McCrane get some playing time and be hot. Now you add Chris Rimbert back too. And then Brandon also with his brother Mason, who's a freshman this year, has a heck of a day, I think, on Saturday. But it felt like every other highlight clip was Mason driving in Brandon or Brandon making a play to Mason in the field. Just incredible job. 2 local guys. In my previous professional job, I got to see Mason up close and personal as the rival of the school I worked for. And have everybody knew he was going to be a talent. I don't think anybody expected him to be doing such a great job this early. And he's certainly taken the opportunity presented to him and run with it. So props to Mason and Brandon. I think can echo this as someone with a brother. How cool is it to get to play on the same field at the highest level with your brother and then have success too? So really cool to see, and I hope those guys continue to just live it out.
Yeah, I'm having trouble keeping them straight at this point because it's like McCrane this, McCrane that. After these last couple of games, and you got to give them credit for with Chris Rimbert going down, especially taking advantage. We talk a lot about this concept of what do you as a team, but maybe even individuals look like when your best player goes down and you get the opportunity to replace him. And so we've seen that answer to that question a lot here with Chris Rimbert going down. But as you already addressed, great to see him back. I think just from looking at him, you can probably see that he's being a bit careful with that very vicious looking injury he had to his leg early. Was it game 2? I think is what it was. But I was not expecting to see him back. The way coach even talked about it, I was thinking first SEC series. So not even maybe he pinch hits a little bit this weekend, but he saw significant time. So that is extremely encouraging. And I often get asked with these, I think it was an ankle injury. Am I correct in that, right?
Yeah.
Whether you never know with an ankle injury, no matter the sport, because it's different for each person about how that really got messed up or rolled up on. But he looked, even with maybe just a not completely deformed, he got right back into it, RBI. So Auburn's got to feel real good having him back to this time around. Yeah, excited to see him continue that. And then the pitching. I'm just going to give a shout out to Petrovic. He's the first Auburn pitcher, or the starter pitchers at least, to 3-0 on the year. I think out of all of the three, the most consistent in terms of giving his offense a chance to get those runs for him and get out there and position himself for the win. Now, there's been great pitching outside of that. You maybe say the first one, maybe not so much, but if you look at some of the numbers, there's still a ton of strikeouts and things like that. You still liking the starting rotation the way it is with Sanders in game 2 and then Marciano in game 1?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you could mess with it too much. It's been a great job, and they've certainly shown consistency. I think obviously you can see where both have gotten roughed up at some times, but they throw strikes, and I think Auburn is happy with that after, I think when you walk so many guys like a couple of years ago, that can get stuck in your head, but Auburn's throwing strikes and pounding the zone. And continues to see success from it. So I think you'll probably see this as the 1-2-3 for the time being until something changes. But that's okay with me. And I like that you get to see the midweek guys continue to see who maybe be able to step in on down the road. I think this past week with West Georgia was Alvarez got to start, and another young guy who's had success early. So I'm fine with it. We'll see what they do next weekend. I was just looking up to see who they've got next week. It's Winthrop. So Samford on Tuesday, Winthrop next weekend. So another chance for them to prove themselves.
One quick note on the rotation as well. Maybe not the rotation, but there was the conversation with Butch that you may see the rotation change a little bit, and a lot of things change with roster throughout non-conference play as they learn what to stick with. And they found that pretty early. I think that some of us thought Drew Whalen was going to be part of that starting rotation, and he hasn't yet, but he's being utilized a lot and in some situations for some extended period of time. So I'm wondering if we haven't just found not only a great starting rotation, but your strong, long reliever guy that could be a starter as well. And if I'm reading the room right on what's going on with the pitching there, and I really like that if I'm reading the room of what's going on there a lot. I don't know if you've picked up on that.
I haven't, but I think, Griffin Graves is somebody I thought might crack that rotation early, and he had a minor injury just before the first game. And so you get him back to health, and it's what we heard from Butch the last month before the season started is we don't know what to do with how many guys we've got we feel good about. It's a weird predicament to feel, but like you said, a good problem. So, there's 4 games left, 7 games left, 5 games left. Let's do math, Austin. 5 games left for SEC play. So you got 5 more games to kind of figure out what you've got. Yeah. And if you're still feeling that good about it with also what you may be holding in your back pocket going into SEC play, you're feeling really good if you're Auburn.
Yeah, I've been really pleased thus far. And I think a lot of Auburn fans are sharing that sentiment just in general with pitching, starting, long relievers, all that kind of stuff.
5 games left to SEC play, Kyle. Just 5.
I'm excited. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun SEC competition this year in baseball. It always is, but I feel like it really this year is going to be a lot of fun.
2 night games next weekend too.
Oh, I forgot about 2 night games next weekend. It's going to be a busy week here on the Diamonds for everything. And speaking of which, brings us over to softball. It's a busy week because SEC softball is just around the corner, but let's wrap up the majority of their non-conference play here. I forgot the name of the tournament they're hosting. It's usually the Tiger Classic or the War Eagle Invite or something like that. This is not the Jane B. Moore one, if I'm not mistaken. That was the first one. I think.
I can't remember.
I'm putting it off on you on the spot here. It's one of those things. It's not the most important thing in the world to know, but they hosted a bunch of teams here. Some familiar, a bigger name and number.
This
11.
Was the Jane B. Moore Memorial.
Okay, so it was the War Eagle Invite, then the Jane B. Memorial. We should have known that. That's correct. On me tonight. Your teams that you saw in this for Auburn: 2 games with Troy, 2 games with Virginia Tech. Number 11, I think, was what they were ranked. And then 2 games with South Carolina Upstate, one of the most unique directional school names I have ever seen in my life. I don't know what Upstate. I guess there's a downstate, a east state, a west state. I don't know.
Probably
South
not.
Carolina. South Carolina is pretty small. I didn't know that we needed directional schools there. So your results for the week: win 8-7 versus Troy, close one there. Win 10-4 versus Troy. Then 2 losses to Virginia Tech, which was a little bit disappointing. 5-9 and then 2-6. And then they walloped. They took some revenge on USC Upstate, 13-5 for the run rule, and then a little scary one, kind of. There's a good performance in it, 2-1 versus Upstate. They finish out the tournament today. So, where are you at on this, Austin? Assessing this, we've seen a lot of promising things. Virginia Tech is highly thought of in softball right now based off the rankings. They don't lose that bad to them, but you take care of business everywhere else. What's your takeaways from the J&B Moore invitation?
Yeah, you take care of business everywhere else. You showed you can win a lot of different ways, whether it be pitching duels or high scoring and scoring a lot of runs. I think the biggest thing is you wish you could have gotten maybe just one of those Virginia Tech ones. I think even if you drop one somewhere else, I'd rather have one of those Virginia Tech ones.
Really?
Just well, I mean, I prefer to go 6-0, but if you're going to go 4-2, I'd rather get one of everybody that's coming into town. Okay. But you got to see good competition again, and you got to see a team that maybe is somewhere down the road you're hoping to be. And so, all in all, a good weekend. I don't think you can be too upset about anything. But seeing that those scores, and certainly stands out to me that you can win 2-1, but you can also win 13-5. You can win 10-4 and 8-7. So lots of different ways. Shows a lot of resiliency to me.
Yeah, it does, and certainly another time we say this, like we do in baseball, don't dismiss those regional teams like Troy. They'll pop up here and give you a fight. We did get the win there in that first game, but I see what you're saying. I would like to have one of those. I don't know if I would have sacrificed the win over the others, because in my view, these losses to Virginia Tech, just looking at the spread, it's they beat us by enough. It's not terrible. It's not like you got blown out 23-0, I think, or 23-1.
There was a one.
There was a one in there. But you take care of business everywhere else. Where I want to give a shout out again to a lady that we already given a shout out once, and what has nicely filled out the pitching staff here. Ella Harrison, 13 strikeouts today, and I think that 2-1 Upstate, which when that close of a game, you got to have that. That was an impressive feat. So I think similar to baseball, if you're an Auburn softball fan, you got to feel really encouraged by it's not just the SJ Guerin show, and there are others obviously in the staff. I'm not dismissing anybody else's contributions, but that you've got this other young star coming alongside her, starting to make you feel that you've got some variety and places that you can go other than just lumping so much pressure onto a few different individuals there. So I really like what we're seeing out of Ella Harrison with those 13 strikeouts. That's a lot.
That's a ton, and especially when you play 7 innings, and like you said, needed every single one of them in a 2-1 ball game. They do start SEC play this weekend, so yes. It is at home, Kentucky at home. So I think that if I remember right, Kentucky is where the Malvos got their first conference win. Sounds right? I think they took 2 or 3 in Lexington last year. So you got a good chance to start off really well. The weekend after that's in Norman, Oklahoma. So it'd be really nice to start off SEC play well here this weekend. It's kind of like you got baseball too, but it's a big weekend. This Go Wild War Eagle weekend. That's what I'm seeing as the promotion on each of those series. Are you aware of what that is?
I'm not, but it sounds like I should, because it sounds like it's right up my alley in some ways.
Go Wild.
Go Wild.
This might be like their I don't know.
Bark in the Park or something related.
It's just everything. I mean, it's at baseball. It's at softball. This might. Oh, that was this weekend. The War Eagle Run Fest was this weekend.
Yeah, that was this weekend. Yeah.
I don't know. It might just be a big push to get a bunch of people here in town. But you can see a bunch of really good baseball and a really bunch of good softball next weekend. So
check it out.
Make your way to the Plains. SEC play is on the way.
It's a fun time. Spring sports has already been rolling, but now we're getting into the good stuff here with SEC play, and strong entrance so far for Auburn softball in their 2026 season. Brings us to our final main topic of the evening. Yes, folks, I know there's been a lot of itching for this. We're going to talk a little football. The practices have not started yet. I think that is still a week or so away, maybe 2 weeks from what I remember the calendar we talked about. But that April 18th A-Day game is quickly approaching. And finally, we can officially talk about who is on at least the spring roster for Auburn football. It is out now, and go get acquainted for it. And with them. And when I say go get acquainted, I do mean it, because you may not know the majority of this team. We knew this was coming with 39, maybe 40
I think we hit
transfers
40.
in. You add in a smaller than normal, but a high school class is that. This team, good luck finding, in one, just like if you were to put this whole team in like a basket or something like that and reach in and grab a handful out, you'll probably pull out one name you knew last year of any prominence. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, Austin, but I'm just saying this is so unique this year. Every year you have attrition, right? In terms of no matter NIL, transfer portal or not, you have people graduating, going early to the NFL draft, what used to be the standards for transferring in or out, or academic issues or things like that. So there's always some attrition. But like, what do you do if you're an Auburn fan this year with all this newness in this roster? Like, how do you process all this?
Well, I think it says a lot of how crazy it is based on that Auburn football on their website was able to categorize the roster by just spring football 2026. Like, this is just the spring roster. Mm-hmm. This will change again because there's no transferring out. But there's no telling how you add guys these days. And so things could happen over the summer. Things could happen into the fall. So you never know. But this is who's going to be there for A-Day, and at least going to be on the field in some capacity. So you can go ahead and get familiar with some of these guys. There's a lot of them coming from Tampa, Florida. So here's your chance to see their faces and figure out their numbers.
I should have started off by saying the spring roster for the USF Auburn Tigers, but I know that joke was probably overdone.
The Tiger Bulls, the Bull
Tiger
Tigers.
Bull Tigers. If we were the Sharks, maybe the Bull Sharks, then we could roll all that in together, but that doesn't really work out there. There's not really a set way that I want us to go about discussing this. I would just encourage people to go and get to know some of these people, because a lot of people have even asked about who's going to be at this position, who's going to be at that, who's left at that position. Is there someone or a group that sticks out to you, Austin, more than anything that you'd like to discuss? I'm throwing you.
You're just
in the fire here.
You are just throwing me in the fire.
Well, let's do this. Quarterbacks. Let's just talk about the full room, because everybody's asking, after who is it? Like, who would be the number one, number two guy? We don't know that yet. Can we all agree for the final time? It still amazes me that around people that don't know it, Byron Brown is your starting quarterback. Can we agree on that?
I think that's pretty fair.
After that, I think it's a pretty fair best guess at this point. Here are all your names in the quarterback room. Lachlan Hewlett, back up to Byron Brown at USF. Tristan Tia, who came in from Oregon State, who a lot of people are excited about. You've got Reese Brush, who came in as part of a USF commit, but not Auburn commit and signing now. John Colvin, who's been around for a little bit, and then Will Myers, is a quarterback as well. So 6 guys. We obviously probably are focusing on mainly 3 there, and I'm going to think everybody would agree with this too, Austin. Byron Brown, Lachlan Hewlett, and Mr. Tristan Tia. So really, I think it's fair to say the question isn't about who's starting, but who's the backup at this point, right?
Yeah, and I think it'd be, both have been in college, and Tia's seen some game and has had some action at the collegiate level, and so I think he'd probably get the nod. But then you also throw in Lachlan Hewitt, knows what Alex Golish and Joel Gordon and Cody Burns want to do in this offense. So he might have the intellectual leg up. So we'll see what it looks like. The best part about spring is that we get a real A-Day game this year. So you're going to get to see him. You're going to get to see him play. You're going to get to see him throw to some of these receivers that a lot of people are excited about. So we'll get a lot of things, maybe not a lot of answers, but a lot of things to talk about, which is good for our profession. A lot of things to talk about in the following weeks and months. So I think that's a big question mark. Obviously, you want Byron Brown to be your guy, and you want him to play every snap and every minute of every game, because if that's the case, Auburn has a higher chance to succeed, I think. But things can happen, and who's ready to come in behind them if needed is something Auburn will need to figure out.
And you talked about the reps, getting to see these guys. I think we all recognize Byron Brown will get to play, but you're probably not going to throw him out there into the fire. But you actually might get to see a really strong competition against those perceived number, who's fighting out for that number 2 spot. You've got the guy with the intellectual, I know what USF offense wants to be, Hewlett, and then you got Tristan Tia, who a lot of people are excited about his talent. To see that kind of battle right there, I'm going to relate it to last year a little bit. You might have kind of this. Was Deuce Knight ready to start off the year? No, but he got the opportunity as time went on to show a little bit more. So maybe you even see that with Tristan Tia. But your first crack at seeing the quarterback room in general, obviously, is for that 8A game, and that'll be a lot of fun to watch. Let me ask it this way, since we're just talking about the roster in general right now. Is there another room that excites you, that you're more interested in going into spring? And I can certainly give you all the members of that if you're interested in one.
I think the edge room is intriguing to me because Auburn loses maybe 2 of its biggest impact players on that side of the ball there in Keldrick Falk and oh my gosh,
Kieran Crawford.
Thank you. I wanted to say Kieran Crawford. And so, you know, those guys are obviously have been at the NFL Combine this week. So what Auburn brought in those places of them is I was looking through it a minute ago and I saw Deshaun Womack from Ole Miss is a transfer from St. Francis Academy in Baltimore, Maryland, the Auburn Pipeline. And he's going to be wearing number 15. So it'll at least look a little bit more familiar that way. Or help me, Kyle. 20. Why am I forgetting Kieran Crawford's number?
I'm forgetting it off. 24.
I can't.
I think that's
okay. 24. Okay, that won't be the same. But the edge room has a lot of question marks, but also a lot of potential and guys who have come up. Do you have the full list?
Yeah, I've got. So you said Deshaun Womack, obviously at edge. Nate Johnson from Missouri. So that's a SEC talent right there. Now they got JJ Falk at edge,
right,
which is interesting because JJ originally, when he came in, was at the linebacker room, and I recognize the edge position is a hybrid linebacker, hand down. It's fluid, so it's not that big of a change. But if you want to talk about like something's different this year in the roster, JJ Falk, is something to look at in terms of technically a position change. Jaquez Wilkes at the edge position. Joe Phillips, he's been around for a little bit as well. Jared Smith. There, the more I read this list, there's a lot to like in it. Names that we're familiar with, new names that people are excited about, SEC transfer talent coming in. So I'm really glad you brought up this group because
there's some youth, but there's some potential.
Youth, potential, SEC experience, and I know that we're going to be missing Keldrick, but as Austin just pointed out, Deshaun just chose his number, so I guess
he's hoping. He's hoping some of that luck is still in there and rubs off.
Yeah, and I think we all are. Let's keep that standard going of them right now. One thing I will bring up, because I had this asked a lot of me this off season, and I guess I should have stayed on top of it because I am a special teams guy, to be honest with you, or at least that's what my history was. But I got asked a lot about punter and who is left because I think we all were assuming that Hudson had graduated. He hasn't. He is still part of the team, and so I would suspect that he is going to be the
Hudson. Who?
Hudson Cack is the leg. He will have the leg up. Okay, sorry, I got buzzed for that. He will have the leg up for punter this year. You've also got John McGuire on that as well. Now, what I find interesting is we did pick up someone recently, but I am not seeing them on this list here, unless that's a formality or maybe he's just not arrived for spring yet.
It might not be for spring. That might be one of those summer things we talked about, that it's a guy who can't enroll yet.
Yeah, what I'm checking on is to make sure he's not listed as a kicker too. No, that is not the case. But I know punter's not a position that we all focus on, but there was a lot of questions this week about who is going to be the guy next year. Hudson, I think, is still going to be right now your guy. John Allen McGuire came out of Birmingham area. There's that, and then you got transfer. So you may have a stronger competition at punter this year than we. That may be one of the more discussed groups than it usually is because the quarterback room is going to be so boring at this point. I don't know if there's a story there or not, but I just wanted to bring it up for you.
Yeah, it's worth looking into. I mean, I think I think Hudson probably got some flack he didn't need at times, but he certainly has a chance to kind of have a big year under a new special teams coordinator who's had a lot of success and under different circumstances. I think Hudson probably hoping he doesn't have to punt quite as much. So we'll see if that helps him too. But John McGuire's a guy a couple years ago was very highly thought of coming out of Thompson High School. And he's now had a couple years to learn and be in a Division I weight program. So you never know what you might get to see and what a new coaching staff prefers.
I want to bring up one more group with our last bit of time here because I was I'll give a shout out to him, Mark Rogers, voice of the college football show this week, and we were discussing spring prep and all that kind of stuff. And he wanted to talk about a few of these groups. Linebackers, I'm really excited about, and that's interesting to say when you lost some talent out of that to the transfer portal, some bigger names there too. Now you are retaining probably the biggest name Auburn's had out of the transfer portal in quite some time, and that's Xavier Atkins. And we all know, we all recognize he's going to probably be the leader of the defense this year. Just Keldrick's gone, Keyron's gone. He's going to be your leader there. But couple him with DeMarcus Reddick, who was the guy before him and hampered with injuries last year. If he's back healthy, that's going to be dangerous for people. Elijah Melendez, who had some outstanding plays last year, outstanding. Bryce Dees, who's gotten some great time as well and has shown a lot of talent.
Dees?
Yes. And Shadarius Tootle with the best last name ever. There was a big get for this recruiting class and, back and forth battle, things like that. Other names in there, Antonio Melendez, Coleman Granberry, Michael Matthews Canty, and Adam Balagoon Ali as well, another one from this freshman class in the new recruiting class for Auburn. I'm really excited about this group, Austin, A, because of Xavier, but B, because of everybody else who's still here, even after we lost people like Robert Woodyard. And I think that's the group that's going to be very special to watch on the defense.
Yeah, no, you're right. With DeMarcus getting hurt, it obviously paved the way for Xavier to have a really great year and be shocking, or not shocking, but be a standout. But it also paved the way for a lot of guys like Elijah Melendez to shine, and he did in the back half of the year and had a lot more playing time. So I'm excited to see him develop for another year. I think that linebacker room is one of DJ Durkin's calling cards and one of his place he can whisper some magic. And he's certainly shown that with some proof of concept and guys he's developed. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they do this year. And they're going to need it. The linebackers obviously mentioned mostly as the quarterback of the defense. They're in the middle. They're calling things out. They're pointing things out. To have Xavier Atkins be that QB1 is good, but can he get the rest of the room up to his level? We'll find out, but that'd be a very good thing for Auburn.
We might have some time in future episodes as we get into spring to do some more looks at some of these other groups we didn't do this evening, but those are just some of the ones that kind of were at the top of our list. And I know that are top of some of y'all's interest pieces out there, but the main point is this: the whole team's new. Get used to it. Go ahead and get familiar with them. Hope everybody's coming to that 8A game, because this is probably your best way to get acquainted with a lot of these guys and how they play, what everything's going to look like. I think it's going to be a fun time, especially if we get some really great weather, which I know we're all hoping and praying for right now. But that'll do it for this episode of the Auburn Experience Podcast, episode 164. We appreciate you all sticking with us and hanging out with us live. Those of you that caught the replay, we thank you for that as well. If you want to keep up with me, the best way to do so is on the email account, E2C Network at gmail.com. Direct messages are open as well on most of the social media accounts. Where can they keep in touch with you, Austin?
Yeah, at Austin G. Scott on most things. And let me know if there's anything I messed up tonight. It sounds like there's plenty to choose from.
If you've never watched the live show, we've got some people that love to just try to mess with us the entire time, whether it be apparel, the way our faces look, or dial-up connections sometimes. It's just
I never know. Everything looks great to me all the time, and so I never know.
There was one moment that was pretty rough, and I would like to say that I think I did an outstanding job of maintaining face throughout the entire thing, because it was really scary there for a moment. I was this close. I mean, this close from having to say, I think we lost Austin. but we didn't.
That's crazy because I never noticed. So props to you, sir.
We did what we can and we made it through it. And sometimes that's just the way it be. I'll say as the youth is, it do be like that sometimes.
It do be like that.
As he freezes right now on the screen, which is just a great way to end this show. 164. As we go, I remind you the Auburn Creed asks you to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. We ask you to do the same. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
All right, that was perfect. That was
Man, I never see anything. Like I literally have no
good.
idea. I never know what's happening. I never know when I'm frozen or not.
Your
I don't know what it is.
Your connection is never bad. Like it will go out for a second sometimes, but come right back in. But there was a time where you were in the middle. I think it was when we were discussing Edge, and I literally heard Edge, and I'm like, you go back and look at that segment. You can see my eyes frantically looking at the names, just trying to make out some of the syllables that you're throwing out there. I'm just like, I think that's cool too, Austin.
So how's that work? Like, does your audio record? Does it, or will?
We're having housekeeping here right now, folks. I know this is a great show, but
yeah.
So pull the curtain back in the least boring way. It will show up like that in the thing, but it's not that bad, honestly, Austin. But there is a way for us to record separately, but it requires you like leaving your computer open forever for it to. We can test it out sometime if you want, and that way it actually records what you see and what I see at the same time,
and we merge it,
and it merges it all together. But
I'm happy to try. I hate to be the one that causes a bad product.
It was not a bad product. It was just a funny little moment where Kyle was panicking, trying to figure out what to say.
My internet is never like bad. I notice sometimes during the day when I'm like, all right, it's taking a while to load, and I guess that's what happens during these evenings. But
it was funny. It was a good time, and Austin glitched when Kyle mispronounced the punter's name. that was a good one too.
Yeah, I don't know. Out here in the cow town, I guess the internet's not too good.
Well, listen, I'd rather live in a cow town in a dumpster. So y'all take that every day and twice on Sunday, I guess.
Yeah.
You're welcome to stick around, but anything if you need to head out, final stuff for you?
I don't think so.
I think
WT was being WT, but I actually walked at the new. We talked about this with somebody in Conquer Club this week about that doesn't need to stay on the screen. We talked about
I just want
that.
to make you uncomfortable real quick.
We talked about that with someone in the Conquer Club. Not that, but we talked about the construction with someone in the Conquer Club. Who's on the site? I can't remember.
I mean,
somebody's on the site.
What are you asking? Hold on.
Somebody's working the work. Somebody in our Conquer Club is working the.
Oh yeah, I don't know that we should reveal that, but yes.
Oh, okay. Well, somebody.
CB.
Oh,
CB.
Nice.
There you go.
I think he's revealed that before, but I'll let him.
He's revealed it to us, but I just want to make sure I'm doing.
I did get to walk up there and see it though tonight. We let the boys ride their bikes around, and the tractors, of course, or I don't know what they're called. They're all track. Yeah. Okay. I knew you would announce yourself.
Okay. It's not my place to do that. I just wanted
I don't know what they're called. They're tractors at our house, but they're the ones you drive with the big shovel thing. Were lined up, and it was all very well lit. I can't wait for the fences to be down because that's going to be a nice walking and riding bikes area for some toddlers. I know. But it looks good.
It's so weird seeing that area now, even with the construction walls still up. I've just been so used to a certain view with those dorms there. I'd never stayed in them myself outside of a camp. Now, I was there for a couple of days, but I didn't experience what it was like in there. You want to talk about like bygone days of Auburn? What did they call that group of the
Hill?
The Hill. Like that's like some straight up stereotypical or was college dormitories that people think of when you go to college, and I'm sure people had great memories there too. But it's just
but it's like there's been like medical issues up there. Like there's been like well documented lawsuits about the Hill. So there's still 2 up there for now, according to our source. That we'll let him announce that, but it looks nice. It for an area for a while that was an eyesore for probably most of Auburn's campus looks nice. Yeah. And that's always good. So once it's done, I think Corey said that April is maybe when like the exterior's done, and then they just work on all the stuff inside.
Yeah.
I did look tonight, and it says fall 26 is when I'll be open. So once it's done, I'll try to take some video and picture up there, and we can share that.
Yeah, well, you couple in where, with you guys over there, the education department, I mean, that whole stretch right now is going to be some of, obviously, the newest, but the prettiest looking parts of campus, especially as that landscaping takes effect, grows, and all that stuff. It's just going to be.
It's gotten a nice glow up, as the kids say.
That was one more phrase. I did it do be like that sometimes. We're not that old, are we, Austin?
Yeah.
Some more than others here. Maybe
that's
the left
right.
side of the screen.
You said it.
All right, sir, you get out of here before I get you in more trouble. But thanks for hanging out. Unless you want to stick around, I'm kicking.
No, I'm good. Okay. WT scared me enough. I'm gonna head out.
All right, have a good night, sir.
All right, War Eagle.
All right, you guys are stuck with me for the rest of the evening. We don't have much time left, but I will give you guys, as I always try to do, a little bit of Q&A time. So if there's something specifically you would like me to bring up on the screen, or not on the screen, but just, in terms of your quotes and stuff like that are appropriate. I know I shouldn't have put that one up, but I did, because we can certainly do that for a few minutes here. Let me use this time, as I always do, to make you aware of what our tentative plan for the week is in terms of some schedule stuff for live streams. Obviously, your next planned one at this point is our post-game show for Auburn basketball. I know they're not the most fun right now, but Auburn versus LSU. It'll be senior night, so please do come to the game if you can and support the team, but show up to that. You are only guaranteed 3 more shows of this. So I hope that you'll take advantage of it. Come hang out with us for Auburn basketball post-game show versus LSU. And it's so weird playing them so late in the season. We'll also have Auburn Family Night this week. We've got your live call-in show. Had a great show last week, and I hope we can replicate that as well. There was some lively happenings on that one. You just never know what you're going to get. We had a live reaction of a baseball ending that we didn't know we were going to get. That was kind of cool. So that's out there. We'll have a post-game show Saturday as well for the final Auburn men's basketball game versus Alabama. And there's a couple other things we're thinking about in the live stream realm right now. We're working through a little bit. Nothing to announce right now, but just to let you know in terms of that. Always follow social media, though, wherever you can get that. Let's see here. Yeah, Austin, I think he got out of here before he could see the love from you, but there you go. Do you still think, okay, so yeah, this is probably the big question. You still thinking we're going to the tourney, Kyle? I think our resume, let me back up. So to the question of will Auburn make the tournament, as of this moment, 2 games left in the regular season, SEC tournament left to go. I think their resume is very strong. I think that's what's kept them in most people's minds in the tournament. The way I described it on our post-game show for Ole Miss, because that was the story, that was kind of the tipping point for the season, and you lose that one and things get really difficult for you. And I would agree with that, because what we've had happen now is where if you had a balance of scales, Auburn's, resume of wins versus resume of losses, it was, always high. I know it's reversed on my screen, but it's right here in my hands, at least. This is the wins side of everything. It was very heavily weighted in favor of that. But unfortunately now, as the season, this February really has gone on, it's done this with just a very favorable in the wins resume. And then it kind of was just hanging there in that one. That's a bad loss. That kind of tilted it up this way. So that's the way I've chosen to kind of look at it. Now, this thing can switch back real quick. But the problem is that you've made your pathway so difficult that it's hard for a lot of people to process that this thing can get turned around, especially the way that February has gone and the team has played in a variety of reasons for that. So I would say that I'm less confident now that they can make it, but I still see a viable path to that. The question is, we don't know what the committee is going to do, right? The question is, will the committee still really respect that wins resume more than that very, and I say strong in a bad sense, loss resume for Auburn that has been built this February? you can really help yourself with finishing out the season undefeated and maybe making a 2 or 3 game run in the SEC tournament. You do that, it's going to be hard to keep Auburn out with that resume, but the pathway is very slim at this point, and it didn't. Hey, I'm going to use a phrase that doesn't relate to this normally, but it didn't have to be this way. So there's that. Anything else that you guys want to talk about? Drop in here last minute. Let me check here. This was from Mr. Scott, the other Mr. Scott. I think this is his account. Yeah, it is. If he's still watching. This was in reference to the baseball team. They said, with regards to Nebraska and getting that first win, they used their whole pitching staff to get that first win. Auburn run ruled the last 2 games. And I think there is really something to that, because I think it was in the first game, 7 pitchers for them, 6 for Auburn. Auburn still used a lot, but as we discussed, Auburn's baseball pitching roster seems to be so far this year much deeper and much more reliable, way further down, thus the depth. I think that's fair to say that the Nebraska used everything that they had in that first game, and hey, to their credit, they got it. But Auburn just, was more established to sustain after that start a 3-game series that way, and it showed in how their offense popped off again. 8 runs in the first game is not bad. Just they got more and got the win. But I think that's a fair assessment for that series overall. Coming back over here, this says WT Kyle. If the wins resume carried the weight, it would have been in the hand down. Oh my goodness. I don't know. Is that a, I got you. I was doing up here. Listen, I'm doing the best I can on this screen right now. trying to figure out how to demonstrate this. And it's weird when it mirrors for me. Corey says the pitching is a worlds better this year. And what's interesting about this too, Corey, and WT obviously loves the pitching too, is that it really wasn't that bad last year, and it was much improved from the year before. Do y'all remember 2 years ago how great we started the year and we hit SEC play, and it's like the pitching just quit. They didn't quit, but like production wise, they just quit. And it was so flabbergasting and resulted in a very frustrating year. We had people making really silly statements that Butch Thompson needed to be fired. You Auburn fans out there, sometimes you'll want to fire someone very quickly for just stupid reasons, because you get way too impatient. Sorry, let that frustration come out. I don't know if that individual even watches our show anymore, but I to this day cannot. That is probably the one that made me the most mad, is someone trying to call for someone fired, someone saying that weird anomaly year that Butch Thompson needed to be let go after he had taken us to World Series and been regional host and all this kind of stuff. #1 draft pick, taking us to new heights. And here we are still with him doing great. Anyway, the pitching is very much improved this year. All right, guys, I've been on for a while now. I got to pop off. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening, with Austin too. We had a really fun show with y'all tonight. We always do, but this was a good one. We had a lot of just solid things we needed to hit this evening. I think we did a good job of that. You guys are the best little family within the Auburn family, and I mean that. Thank you so much for showing up live. For those of you that caught the replay and stuck it out this long, thank you as well. It's very much appreciated. Always drop us comments if you can. Even on the replay part of the show, it does help push the show out to others. If you want to just follow up about something that we talked about here, or share just something that you did or didn't like about the show, or tell people to watch this funny segment of the show, that's always helpful. But thank you guys. As we go, I remind you again, the Auburn Creed asks you to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. We ask you to do the same. War Eagle.